Considered to be one of the most shocking betrayals in gaming history, Big Smoke and Ryder turned on their gang, their family, their friends, all for monetary gain, but were the signs of betrayal always there before the ultimate unveil? In hindsight, yes, and in today's video, I'll be showcasing a total of around 30 or so hints that potentially foreshadowed the turncoat before we saw it for ourselves. Welcome to the video. You're listening to Phil of Philby Gaming. If you enjoy the following, you all know what to do, and if you're new to the channel and haven't subscribed already, after watching, please consider doing so. With that being said, let's get into today's video. So beginning with some clips from a short movie titled The Introduction, a cinematic produced by Rockstar Games before the release of GTA San Andreas, we get our first insight into this. We have corrupt police officers Tempeny and Pulaski stating the following.
I knew that fat fuck would see it our way.
Yeah, always do once they understand the choices we're offering.
Following this, we see Smoke bringing Ryder on the deal, convincing him it's his destiny to involve himself in the drugs trade.
Need to be in charge of my destiny, homie.
This way you will be, homie. This is all about destiny. You know I got your back, right, homie?
Cool.
Smoke later tries to convince Sweet, the leading figurehead of the GSF, to involve the gang in the drugs trade, but is shot down as Sweet chooses to stick by his values of keeping the streets clean.
Hey, fool, we losing the streets, man.
Nah, we just standing by our principles, homie.
But our principles are making us bitches, man. Everyday ballers get stronger, and you and I get weaker. You and I get poorer, man.
Man, that shit'll blow over.
Oh,
It
whatever,
always
man.
does.
And lastly, from the introduction, we have the Green Sabre pulling a drive-by at the Johnson home, with the intended target being Sweet himself. Unfortunately, the mother of the family, Beverly, is slain instead. The colour of the sabre are the colours of Grove Street, another nod in the direction of this being an inside job. So stepping into the shoes of Carl Johnson, CJ, as he returns home to Grove Street following the death of his mother, the following scene plays out.
You picked the wrong house, fool!
Hey, Big Smoke, it's me, Carl. Chill.
CJ? Oh, my dog! What's up? Hey, baby, you okay, man?
Nah, man. It's my mom's, homie.
Hey, I don't know why this had to happen, but I promise you, I'm gonna find out who killed your moms. The streets is cold, dog. Like it says in the book, we are blessed and cursed.
What fucking book?
Same things make us laugh, make us cry. But right now, we gotta take care of our business. Go see your brother at the cemetery. Come on, let's bounce.
There's a couple of subtle hints in the scene alone that foreshadow the betrayal. For starters, Big Smoke was hiding in the kitchen, awaiting to attack. Many speculate that the intended target was to be Sweet following his return from his mother's funeral. Smoke also pauses for a moment, battling with himself as to whether to take out CJ too, but potentially changes his mind as CJ wasn't the target given to him by the corrupt law enforcers. As Smoke throws the baseball bat, it both lands and smashes a picture frame of the mother, a small sign of Smoke being the cause of her death, or at least having something to do with it. As the pair reminisce, after Smoke falsely tells CJ he'll help finding out the true nature of his mother's murder, the pair head to the funeral of Beverly, where we have one final hint during this mission. After CJ is reintroduced to his family, the Ballers attack the gang. If you watch carefully, you'll notice the purple rivals only attack CJ or Sweet, leaving Smoke and Ryder alone. Later on, CJ meets Sweet and Smoke at Grove Street, where Sweet tells CJ to spray over some rival gang tags to cement he's serious about helping out the gang. Although this originally was going to be a solo mission, Sweet decides to join CJ as he understands that Carl will be heading into dangerous territory. Smoke, knowing that the pair are heading into the Ballers' turf, immediately walks away from the duo, leaving them to work alone. He knows he can't be seen with the Grove Street boys. Also, he'd be tagging up his own neighbourhood as Smoke now lives in Ballers territory, another hint towards the betrayal. During a mission where CJ and Ryder chase down and beat up dope dealers selling to their gang, prior to them leaving Sweet's home, Smoke continues to try and convince Sweet to get into the drugs trade, even going as far as justifying that way of life. Shortly into the narrative, the four primary GSF leaders, CJ, Sweet, Ryder and Big Smoke, argue amongst themselves about where to head out for lunch. At the very beginning of this cutscene, Smoke begins to test the waters with Sweet, and although he passes it off as playful ribbing, he's definitely trying to undermine him as a leader.
What's happening with you, Ryder?
Respect has to be earned, Sweet, just like money.
So what you saying? You don't respect me?
What I'm saying is, I'm hungry.
Ah, man, shit. Hey, what's
Man
going
cannot
on?
live on bread alone. I know. I tried that shit. Carl, you look a little thin, man. You gotta be hungry, man.
Yeah,
Man,
I
what
could
you
eat.
fools trying to eat?
That's
What about
wrong.
some tacos?
Tacos again? Hell no.
Chicken, man. No
Man,
discussion.
I don't want no chicken.
Smoke is also the one to choose the Club and Bell restaurant. His reasoning we'll discuss momentarily. During the ride there, the foursome talk about the drive-by hit that killed CJ's mum. When Ryder begins to give away certain aspects of information, potentially giving up Smoke and himself for their involvement, Smoke cuts him off and ends the conversation.
How moms get killed? We gotta talk about it.
We all gotta talk about it. They was going for Sweet.
How you supposed to know that? You know what people are like. Say they have love for you, but won't say a word. Too damn scared.
Some people say they saw a green Saber going to work, then speed away.
Yeah, but people like to talk, don't they? Anyway, that's half of Santos you talking about.
Yeah, you right. My bad.
Hey, bruh.
They had sprayed the house. I ain't see shit.
We also see this for the second time as CJ and Sweet discuss their mother as Smoke interrupts the duo. He doesn't want it to be discussed at all for fear of them finding out. Whilst at the drive-thru, Smoke makes an excessively large order. Some may critique that this is simply because he's a larger gentleman, but one could speculate that he's stalling. Remember, Smoke is the one that chose this particular restaurant. This all falls into place as the rivaling ballers spot the GSF boys, indicating that Smoke had given them a heads up as to where they were going to be. With the ballers heading to Grove Street, the gang defend against this by shooting from the car, taking out the rivaling members. Everybody except Big Smoke, who opts instead to enjoy his food. Even Ryder berates Smoke for not opening fire, who in turn makes poor excuses for his actions.
That food filled a hole.
You chubby motherfucker. Next time you better start blasting or I'm gonna blast you myself.
Smoke you wide, man. I mean wide.
And that's why you love me, baby.
After dealing with the ballers and returning to Grove Street, Sweet invites the gang inside, but Smoke personally declines. He knows that there's a good chance the ballers may not be finished, and he wants to be nowhere near Sweet if they make a second attempt on his life. Upon being questioned by CJ as to his actions, Smoke continues with further poor excuses.
Who was with you back there, Smoke?
Man, if you can eat your food while everybody else is losing theirs and blaming you, you straight, homie.
What?
Nothing. Just some poetry I read.
When visiting Emmett, a GSF associate, he says something interesting to CJ about choices.
What's going on, man? Shit seemed pretty fucked up.
People have to open their eyes and their hearts, CJ.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the choices all men face, brother. Sometimes they seem real, but other times there's no choice at all.
It seems Big Smoke is justifying his actions to himself. As for retribution for the drive-by attempt at the restaurant, the GSF heads into the ballers' territory to exact revenge. Smoke knows that he can't turn down his green brothers as it would arouse too much suspicion, so he feels forced to tag along. Something very interesting about this scene and the entire mission itself is that Smoke doesn't speak at all. It's all Ryder, CJ and Sweet.
Ballers turf. You dogs ready?
Yeah, for sure, I'm ready.
Carl, just concentrate on the driving and we'll take care of the shooting.
Listen to the man, fool, and try not to park us up a tree or something.
Yeah, if the car stops, we dead meat.
Smoke doesn't want to be there. Yes, he does attack the ballers with his gang, but think about it. They intend on leaving no survivors. There will be no one left alive to blow Smoke's cover. We see further hints at the betrayal of Smoke and Ryder during a house party. As the gang head outside to escape the dreadful performance of OG Loke, a GSF member rolls up and informs the gang that a large posse of ballers are heading their way. Immediately, as the gang in green prepare for the attack, Ryder says the following.
I'll go get Smoke and some Grove boys.
Neither Ryder or Smoke return in time for the fight, further emphasising their siding with the rivals. Ryder later implicates his involvement as he says the following to CJ.
I ain't rolling with you no more, man, till you off that water, homie. And mess with your mind.
Whatever you say, fool. You don't know what's going on.
And what that mean?
As CJ visits the home of Big Smoke in Ballas territory, he notices that Tempeny and Pulaski are visiting Smoke more often than the other gang members, prompting CJ to question the true nature of his friend's involvement, to which of course Smoke continues to deny any wrongdoings. We also notice here that when the likes of Ryder and Sweet assign CJ missions, it's all for the benefit of the gang, whereas tasks handed to Carl by Smoke are often for his own gain. One mission with Smoke, where himself and CJ track down a group of Argos, Smoke panics at the fact that they may have spotted him, and immediately knows he must put them down. With the corrupt lawmen having links to all the gangs in Los Santos, it's possible that some of the Vargos are aware of Smoke's betrayal. Also, following the mission, as CJ drops Big Smoke off at home, Smoke rushes CJ to leave, stating he doesn't want Tempeny dragging him into something. He's concerned again in case his cover's blown.
You better clear out, CJ. I don't want those crash fools trying to pull you into some shit.
Alright, homie, you be careful with those cats. I'ma see you later.
Later, Smoke brings CJ along for a meet with some Russians, not for the benefit of Grove Street. The meeting goes south, and the duo are forced to fight their way through the mob and escape to safety. Throughout this encounter, you'll notice that the Russian mobsters call Smoke by his name several times over, indicating they knew him prior to this.
Big Smoke, you'll make big mistakes.
Why is this important? Well, later, when Tempeny orders CJ to scope out a warehouse, we learn that the Ballers and Russians are in business together. This shows that there's a connection between Smoke, the Russians and the Ballers, furthering our clues as to his involvement. A decision is made a little later in the story by Sweet to take out a high-ranking member of the Ballers faction, Kane. Now normally, the four main guys of the GSF would handle this, but instead it's just Sweet, CJ and a couple of recruits. Smoke and Ryder have stayed well away from this for obvious reasons. We also have the fact of some actions when Sweet tries to reunite the disbanded factions of Grove Street in the scene that follows.
Okay, it's strictly 1 rep per set. You guys gonna have to wait here.
We'll be there just in case, bruh.
Thanks, homie, but I'm down with these boys.
I don't like this, man. Look at all them other family hoods. They used to be Grove Streets.
Relax. We straight, they straight. How about you, Smoke?
Hey, I'm feeling a little exposed, but I'm good.
This is the Los Santos Police Department. Everybody stay where you are.
Oh, shit!
Man, what you doing?
Come, get back here, man. We out of here, baby.
I ain't leaving my brother. I ain't no buster.
Man, it's every motherfucker for himself.
Smoke says something interesting during this when CJ asks how he feels. He says he feels exposed. This could be interpreted that he's not concerned about the law, but more about the Ballers seeing Smoke surrounded by so many green shirts as the gang potentially triples in numbers. We also have the fact that as soon as things turn sour, instead of attempting to rescue Sweet from the motel, both Smoke and Ryder bail on the gang. Even every other faction of the GSF stay to help. It's as if the duo were hoping for either the killing or capture of Sweet, as they even tried to convince CJ to leave his brother behind. In the final moments of the first chapter of GTA San Andreas, we see Sweet rallying up the GSF for a large showdown against the Ballers, and once again Smoke and Ryder are nowhere to be seen. You'd think, as two of the leading members of the Grove Street families, they certainly show face for a battle such as this one. We of course learn why they never showed, as Cesar Villapando, boyfriend to the sister of CJ and Sweet, informed CJ of Smoke and Ryder's betrayal, citing that he'd heard rumours and poked around. This would further emphasise our earlier point that rivaling gangs were aware of the pair's betrayal. They would of course been aware of the fight happening under the Mulholland intersection, and just like the motel incident, they're hoping that Sweet will be killed or incarcerated. I do understand there are a few contradictions in this, in particular when discussing Ryder, as Ryder helps out the GSF and is always willing to take the fight to the Ballers, but there's a simple explanation. The narrative of GTA San Andreas altered during production. Ryder was never meant to betray the gang originally, it was always supposed to solely be Big Smoke. If I remember correctly, this was due to differences between Ryder's actor, MC8, and the production team at Rockstar. If you wish to see me cover that as a particular topic, let me know in the comment section. If you enjoyed today's video, you all know what to do, and if you're new to the channel and haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so. Thank you all for watching, you've been listening to Phil of Philby Gaming, and I'll see you in the next video.